So, what is Final Fantasy? What does the Final Fantasy stands for? Well, we all understand it's a fantasy story that's fictional, but what does it mean? Final Fantasy, it's a genre that has evolved in past 3 decades, since late 90s till today. It has evolved, and it brought us many different stories. And each story has a unique characters and unique message. And that is the principle of Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy is not like Metal Gear, where the story continues with many different chapters. Final Fantasy, each Final Fantasy game has its own story, its own world, its own characters, its own universe. And I think that's what makes it so unique. Now, Final Fantasy 16 has evolved, it has matured. And what I like about Final Fantasy 16 is that it brought all of those elements that we love about the games like The Witcher, Dragon Age, Fallout, Skyrim, and put them all into one pot and stirred it. But it's not just that. It's not just the gameplay that is different. It's not turn-based, it's action-based. Not just that. What I really appreciate about Final Fantasy 16 is that these characters are so written well. Every and each character you care about, you can connect with. There's a human emotion here, because we're all humans, whether you like it or not, and we all operate on our emotions, right? And there's a sense of care in this game. You care about these characters. You want to make sure that they're okay. You want to make sure that nothing happens to them. You truly feel like you are Clive Rossfield, and you care about this family. Like you finally belong somewhere. You have this new family, and you care about them, right? Like you look at this photo here, you see Tarja and Clive, right, by the lake, and they're having a moment. Just two human beings exchanging their feelings and care for one another. Each character has its own unique past, and each character brings something to the table, and all of these characters are part of you, part of the family, and you can't just you know let that go. This has never happened to me other than, like, I would say Guns of the Patriots. Um, I guess you could say Final Fantasy VII, but this game has really grabbed me in such ways that I really didn't expect it to grab me. Um, and in order for you to understand this, you really have to play the game from the beginning. You have to focus on the story. You got to play this game without any um, distraction. There shouldn't be any distractions when you're playing this game. Because if there's a distraction, then you're not going to understand what's going on. Then you're not going to be connected and tuned in with this world. Just like a TV show, like Game of Thrones, right? Or the Vikings, or etc. etc. Like, you have to indulge yourself in this story. Once you do that, once you indulge yourself in the story, once you understand who you are, who these characters are, what this world is about, once you understand the meaning of the crystals and all that other stuff, I'm not going to spoil anything, then it's almost like you can't put the controller down because you want to know what happens next. And that's what Square Enix has really accomplished here. They have really made such a great. I would say this is their best Final Fantasy, in my opinion. And I played all of them. This is just my opinion, each to its own. They have, I would say, next to Final Fantasy VII, this is like their, as close to Final Fantasy VII and 8. But this one, it really, it hits all the right notes. What I'm trying to say, it hits all the right notes, and it grabs you, and you're like, you can't put the controller down because you it's like watching your favorite TV show. Oh my God, I want to know what's gonna happen next. Same thing happened to me with like The Last of Us Part 2, where I had a difficult time putting controller down because I wanted to find out, oh my God, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen to Ellie? What's gonna happen to Abby? Right? What's gonna happen to Joel Miller's brother? Right? So it's like it, and I think Square Enix has really achieved that here. And this is what it's all about. This is what was missing in previous games of Final. Like when you look at Final Fantasy 11, 12, 10 was okay. It's Final Fantasy 14 was like eh. Final Fantasy 15 was just boring. But this is really like Square Enix. It's firing on all 12 cylinders, man. They're hitting all the notes. They really wanted to make sure that everything was done proper, and it really is. Without a doubt, the one aspect of Final Fantasy 16 that you're going to appreciate is, even though it's a fantasy, it's a video game, it's not real, but the elements that are in this game you can relate to, you can sympathize with, you can feel it. There's this, it's a very emotional game, and that's the key thing here. This is how you make a successful adventure, storytelling, role-playing game. It's to make you care for the characters. Same thing goes for the movies, because the video games and the movies are not that different. The difference is you are controlling the character here. In the movies, it's already done for you, so you're watching it. But you have to care, like you have to connect emotionally. Okay, we're all emotional creatures. We're humans, right? We operate on the emotion. We make decisions based on the emotion. It's the same thing here. All the decisions are made based on the emotion. The emotion of anger, guilt, hatred, grief, sorrow, love, right? Love, it's a huge part of feeling. People do a lot of things for love. They start wars because of love. Look at Helen of Troy. Look at that. So, and there's all of these elements in this game. You can really kind of connect with it. And in order for you to understand that, you really have to play this game. When I say playing it, you have to play it like without any distractions. If you got some distractions and you got kids running around, or your wife is yelling, or this and that, your kids are screaming, or there's a lot of noise, then you're not going to be able to tune in and lock in with the story. It's like Dr. Disrespect says, you have to lock in with the story. Lucky me, I'm single, so I'm able, in this apartment by myself, I'm able to lock in with this story and enjoy it and understand it. I understand this story really well. And I know for those of you who are watching this, you never play the game, so it's hard for you to connect with something that you haven't experienced yet. But you'll just have to trust me. This is, next to Final Fantasy VII, this is their second best Final Fantasy 16. It's a next generation Final Fantasy, and it's already sold, I don't know how many copies, man, tens of millions of copies, probably 20 million copies, I'm guessing. So it's very successful. Okay, it's super successful, and I give this game, and I'm not even funny. I'm not even. A funny thing is, I'm like 48 hours in, and I'm still not finished. That's how long it is. I give this game 2 thumbs up, way up. I give it 10 out of 10 across the board. Like 10 out of 10 everything. Gameplay, graphics, loading time, characters, story, music, everything. 10 out of 10. 10, 10, 10. I would give it 12 out of 12, but the scale only goes to 10. So I just want to talk about this briefly for about 12 minutes to tell you how I feel about Final Fantasy 16. You've seen me live stream it. You've seen all those videos and live streams that I've done on it. People ask me why I don't use any commentary, because if I do a commentary, then you're not going to focus on the story. You're going to focus on me, and that's a distraction. That's why I do those live streams with Final Fantasy without any commentary, because I want you to lock in. I want you to focus on the story, you know, for the people who care, you know. But even if you never played a Final Fantasy, well, actually, I'm gonna end the video by saying this. Especially for those of you who never played Final Fantasy, I think this is a must. I would recommend this to anyone out there. I don't care if you're a Call of Duty fan. I don't care if you're an Elden Ring fan. I could care less. If you're somebody who loves story, a good storytelling, man, this is 2 thumbs up, way up. I'm gonna end the video by saying this: go buy it. It's worth every penny. 2 thumbs up, way up. 10 out of 10. A masterpiece. Easily a masterpiece. All right, guys, have a good one. Take care. Easily a masterpiece, and I don't say that lightly. 10 out of 10, a masterpiece.